Welcome to Dark Loops Productions Westworld Season 4, where tonight we discuss Episode 3. Sistah Jay, Sistah Kay, would you tell us the name of this episode?
Aye Folles.
Which means?
The Roaring Twenties.
See, we had a whole conversation about that. We feel we have to be
Figured it out.
a resource of some sort to our audience, and score one right out of the belt, right out of the breach today. So anyway, I'm Dr. Scott Jordan, aka Zombie Scotty, cognitive psychologist, philosopher at Illinois State University, and I have the extreme pleasure of co-podcasting this show with the women from Sistah Speak Productions. Please introduce yourselves and tell the audience just a little something about your favorite character in this show. And we'll start with Sistah Aye.
Hello, I am Sistah Aye from the great state of Massachusetts, Boston, born and raised. I am loving this season of Westworld because I have no idea what's happening. But in this episode, my fave character, Bernard, has reappeared. I've got on my best Bernard-esque glasses this evening.
Oh, you sure do there. Look
and
at
I'm
that.
wearing my black for him in his black and white suits. So I am good to go this evening.
That's fantastic. I'm sure we're going to talk about Bernard. And that color memo got all messed up this week. I mean,
y'all are out there with the pinks and the khaki tans. But anyway.
No, I'll be honest with you. I may seem like I'm complicated, but I do what I can to keep things simple. And when I find a design of a shirt that works, I'll buy 7 of them in different colors.
One of every color. I'm the same.
Yep. Exactly. Right. Just keep it simple. Sistah Jay, how about you?
Let's see. I'm Sistah Jay. One of the sisters of Sistah Speak Productions. My favorite, everybody know, is Maeve, because I just love Maeve. And my favorite thing that she said this episode was when she watched her doppelganger story in the butterfly saloon, but it was club, and she said, I did it much better.
I love it.
When I did it. I was rolling. I thought, yeah, she did.
Yeah. They really pay a lot of fan service for this.
But that new one is supposed to take Maeve's story. No, she didn't.
It wasn't working.
She didn't pick it, but I just love Maeve so.
Absolutely. How about you, Sistah?
And I wore this bright pink color because, hey, whatever.
Well, it definitely matches the background.
The first thing I grabbed.
There you go. Sistah Kay.
I am Sistah Kay, aka Kelsey, and I'm also one of the ladies at Sistah Speak Productions series of podcasts. And my favorite character, Sistah Aye said it, Bernard. In this episode, he was bad. I love everything about him. With the hair, without the hair, dusty, not dusty, whatever.
Right.
He looked better clean, though.
Either way, I can get Bernard. I'm there for it.
You got to do a little kung fu this week.
Yeah, he was badass in this episode.
He was good.
People up to a musical soundtrack. It was quite awesome. So this is not going to be a popular, and I probably wouldn't say it if you all hadn't said who you said, but I love the Man in Black, not as I love that guy and I want to be him, but just as the personification of a certain type, because one of the things that I love about what they're doing this season is the tables are turned, but it's the same story.
Same thing.
Yes.
And I really want to know what the authors think they're trying to say. We'll talk about that more as we go through today, but what does it mean when droids are no better than humans?
That's the whole point.
Exactly.
That is the whole point. You said it in a nutshell. I think that's what the writers are trying to say. Everybody is so and I'm speaking in current modern day. Everybody is so enamored and just ooh and ahhing over AI and all of our technology and everything. And I think that might be ultimately what the writers have in mind.
Oh, you know what? Just hearing you talk there, I just wonder if this new digital age is supposed to be so, because there's always this human quest for purity, this human quest for for being right, this human quest for being saved. And I just wonder if this is their way of saying that same story over, right? Because we had with the season 2, they went to the, what did they call it? We talked about it this time.
Sublime.
The Sublime, right? They got there, and maybe they're trying to argue there is no Sublime. I don't know, right? But
Archichetus and the Sublime.
Well, not for humans.
Yeah, exactly. In this life here, in this world, you got to kill a few people to get to heaven.
The whole point is there might be a quote sublime for humans, but nobody comes back and tells you.
Right. How do you know you're there or you're not there?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's a religious question, depending on what your religious affiliation is, because that's the whole point.
All right. That was very well said. The whole point of at least Christianity, as I experienced is faith.
Mm-hmm.
You just
But it's not only Christianity, it's other religions as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are some religions, that I guess they do kind of get you to work towards nirvana, towards a
all
complete
of them do.
soul.
Even Native American religions.
Yeah,
that's
fair
the
enough.
point.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the point, because you hope to be with the great wolf, if that is your totem in your particular tribe,
Right.
or the great buffalo, or the great eagle, or so.
And your acts on earth either get you there or they don't.
And that's almost every religion. Almost every religion has that in common. So I think they're probably trying to say, I really like the way this started with the sublime, because that's the way I look at the sublime. It's like heaven for us Christians. That's where we hope to go when our physical bodies are no longer. So that's what it is for me. And I just like the mythology of it.
Yeah. And I like that opening scene. Go ahead.
But I wanted to,
please go ahead.
I told Scott I would do this, and that is I wanted to point out.
Should I leave the room?
No. That Scott was correct in episode 2 when
I don't know what she's gonna say yet.
I'll get to it.
Good,
He was
good.
correct about what William, aka the Man in Black, said when he was introducing the new theme park. And what he said was, nearly 150 years ago, this world had its first Great War. So you were correct, because you said
World
War
One.
And then it went on to say some other stuff, and he says it was our darkest hour, and yet we came roaring back.
Yeah, okay.
And that was his allusion to the Roaring 20s.
Right.
So.
And he still alluded to massacres in there.
Well,
but
and
those
he
were
also
about
said,
the park,
but he also said we're giving the public what they want. So see, that's what I thought. See, they had some little survey, some little feedback survey for people, because he said we're giving the public what they want, and he also mentioned the fact that how lucrative, meaning money, it got everybody in the room. So.
And how do you get that survey and not get flagged by the FBI? Would you be interested in killing people if you would?
Just saying.
Would you be interested in raping people if you could?
They must have had some feedback, because that's what he said. But he said we give the public what they want, so they can unleash their true selves once again. But he says once again.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. Gosh, I didn't even think, had no idea the conversation was going to go this way tonight, but that's exactly a philosophy. And I think that's what's really great about all these characters, droid or, host or human.
Exactly.
They all express a philosophy, right?
And
you
that's
don't get the show. You don't get the show without those philosophies constantly banging up against each other and competing with each other.
But the thing about Westworld I love is they slipped that in, because I had to slow it down, and I had to watch it twice to get that. And I thought, but that's very profound to me.
It is.
There's a lot
It's
in
very
there.
profound. Yeah, because so they're giving them what evidently human beings have indicated that they wanted that time period. But when he says they can unleash their true selves again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we look,
isn't that what William did? Like in Westworld 1?
Exactly. He exactly.
Found himself.
Yeah.
The thing when you have hosts like Charlotte now, who want violence, right? I mean, they've gone through the same world cycles now that humans did. And I gotta feel like the authors are trying to say, I mean, Bernard's in the middle of it trying to keep everybody chill, but
True.
I gotta believe the authors are going to refuse to collapse on one of those philosophies being right. They're just going to find ways to let us get those four main characters together every season until the show's over, and have those tensions fly, fight with each other, because that's what we live with all the time, right?
But don't you find it interesting though that even though in the Great Age, whatever they call that theme park, that even once Maeve and Caleb get down into the bowels of it, that the same events happen, but the outcomes are different, because Maeve shot the pseudo Dolores as they was coming down the hall,
right?
And the blonde woman who was taking the place of the one with the snake tattoos, she shot her outside. You know what I mean? Or like right on the platform. So that's different than the way it happened initially.
Well,
It is.
I think that, go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
It's like Bernard is saying, but in his own, if we think it's the same timeline, I don't know. But like he said, all possible outcomes. He's trying to find all possible outcomes to figure out how to save the world.
Save us all.
Right. But he's not there with Maeve and Caleb yet.
No, but what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter if he's there with them. There's a bunch of different outcomes that could happen to everybody based on what, I guess, timeline or loop, or what do we want to call
what choices are made.
Like not the upside down, but like this universe, whatever we call where we are.
Yeah.
If you believe in alternate realities and universes and all that, like what causes this one to be different than the one before? You know what I'm saying? So it's like
that's a strong philosophical
paradox.
But I think Bernard has already answered that question when he said choices. When he and Stubbs were in the diner, and Stubbs has to say the exact words to the waitress that Bernard told him earlier. I'll settle for the tuna melt. Remember that? And when Stubbs says to him, "Oh, so what if I would have ordered pizza or something?" He said, well, that's another variable outcome. But think about it. What he's saying is, it's your choice, but the consequences are different based on your choice.
Now, see, you guys are working in my world here. I mean, so it's like at the Stranger Things panel, we talk about the relationship between choice and chance. And one of the things I try to talk about is, I think choices are basically remembered chances, right? In other words, we get into the world, things happen, we associate those with the choices we made, and our choices change, but they'll change. So our choices are never going to be the same, because we're always going to be changing and making them in different on the role of unintended consequences. So it's a pretty strong philosophical claim for them to say that Bernard spent all those years going through simulating all the possibilities and found the one. I mean, that's the Doctor Strange thing, right? And that's perfectly fine. But I don't know how much I would commit to the idea that you can run distinct possibilities. I mean, you can use, I guess you could say, choice branches, but I don't know if it ever actually gets that discrete. And I'll shut up there.
Well, but Bernard already said, when Stubbs was questioning him, like about the shovel, about this, about that, he already said, I'm working it out. So what that said to me was, when he woke up from the sublime, and after all the information that he got, then he's trying to test what he was told. That's why he went to that diner. He beat up them dudes. He told him to get the shovel, because he's trying to test it.
Yes.
No,
you're absolutely right.
So
one of the first
that's
things
the way I
says.
looked at that, though.
No,
but
I agree.
Okay, let me go back to the beginning to the sublime part. First of all, I love the character who's playing Archetta. And I really like seeing him again. And I was so disappointed that when Bernard said, "Come with me," and he said no. Because I thought, oh yeah, okay. But this is my question for all of you, and that is this. Okay. we know that Arcachetta is in the Sublime, and we know where he went there. The very first episode, when the man in black is dealing with the cartel guy, and when you see the picture of the waterfall, there's a split, which is where the Sublime was in Westworld. So is that another different little Sublime area that they can escape to?
I think that was the new Sublime.
Okay.
I think they bought the Hoover Dam and they used it as camouflage. I don't know.
Okay.
And I
that
think
makes sense.
Now, why the man in black has them all there, I don't know, right? Because he's the devil of that world. Right? So,
but it's the
no,
same Sublime, isn't
devil
it?
Of that world.
Or are there more than one Sublimes?
I think they uploaded the old Sublime. I think they migrated the data from one place to another.
Okay.
Wasn't it called the Forge before? And didn't it get ruined?
Yeah, that place.
The Forge was where they was making all the stuff.
Where they built.
That's where all the data.
Where they built the stuff. That wasn't the split where they all ran off that cliff and went into the Sublime. Yes. Remember? That was different.
Yeah.
And
they shot them off to a satellite.
When you looked at the whole Westworld, like just the panoramic view of it, if I recall, where they were headed it looked like visually a split, like a little tear, like if you tore a piece of paper, and it was like that. And as they got closer to it, it got wider and wider. Remember, a lot of them went through.
Yeah.
Well, that first episode in season 4, there's that tear, there's that split there. And it seemed to me, though, that the camera or the way the scene is, they made a point of showing it.
I didn't see it myself. But
I thought the waterfall was behind that.
Yeah, I think it was that waterfall or whatever that was. It was so far back. I don't know that you can say it was specifically that.
Okay.
Sublime at all. I feel
I'd have to go back.
It was like, yeah.
But that's a brilliant production strategy, right? To invoke a memory of the Forge by making it look like that. You know, it's that's getting that back into your head as you watch it. I mean, I instantly knew, not instantly, but when I watched it, I knew what William was doing was this kind of retro, by the way, which is putting host minds in a physical space as opposed to like in a satellite, right? Which is a physical space in the end, but you figure they'd live in a cloud somewhere. Yeah. But that would be the cloud. I'm being stupid right now because the cloud is ultimately a server somewhere. So I apologize. I caught up and I won't edit that. I'll be humble and leave it in it. No, it's all good.
Yeah,
but what Arcachetta said in that moment too was he said, when Bernard asked him, come with me, and he says, no, I have my own worlds, plural, to go to.
No.
Yeah, he did say plural, didn't he?
A year in that world is a millennium in ours.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and he says, and we spend that time building other worlds. What does that mean? I have no idea.
Wow.
But I'm like, okay, so maybe I feel like it's one Sublime, but they all can decide what their Sublime world looks like and what they have there,
right?
Based on what he said to Bernard, like, I created this for you. This is for you. This is your aesthetic or whatever.
Yeah.
They're all given
they're
all given a 5 million terabyte plot of land in the Sublime, and they build whatever world there they want. Right?
Now that you mention it, he did say worlds plural.
And so I'm guessing like they like the whole when Bernard opens his eye, which I thought was so cool that they had the little maze reflected in his eyeball. It was really cool. Anyway, and it was Charlie that was leading him to it. And then all of a sudden we have this white horse, which I was assuming was like Charlie, pseudo Charlie, leading him to this world because they know that's who he loved the most was his son. And then I also found interesting when Arcachetta said, you love them. That's a flaw that our kind has.
Another philosophy, right? That's fantastic.
But he didn't. I don't think he meant all the hosts. I think he meant just them specifically. Him, Bernard.
I thought he meant humans.
I thought he meant humans as well.
No, I think he meant hosts.
Okay, interesting.
Oh, I thought he meant humans.
Because
that's why he's trying to save us.
It's like poor Bernard. Why do you care about
not human.
No, I think he was.
true.
I think he
But
was.
that's why he's leaving
Yeah,
the Sublime.
That was how
to
he was
help
torn.
the humans, I think.
I think
Bernard,
so.
but Archetta is the one who said it, and Archetta is not human, and neither is
Right.
Bernard. So I took it like he meant hosts like us, like Maeve,
Mm,
Dolores,
Okay.
him, that actually like fell in love with
mm.
someone, something, their child,
Mm.
their whatever.
Mm.
I didn't even
But
think
not-
about it from that
Yeah,
point. of
another
That's
view.
what I
gray
thought.
area.
Yeah.
We don't
Well, let's
know
face
exactly.
it, man. I mean, Bernard
Interesting,
loves
though.
everyone, right? Bernard is kind of the Jesus of this thing, right?
Exactly.
And so he's going to try to find a way to keep them all together.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little about maybe why he cares so much. I got a question for you guys. Both Bernard and Maeve are kind of living in the future in a cool way in this episode, right? So Maeve is living in the future in that park because she knows it's going to come. Bernard's living in the future for a different reason. Both Maeve and Bernard both know that they are hosts, and they still try to help people.
I don't think they're in the same timeline. You know why? Because I think what Bernard is looking for when he said it's
I'm getting there. Go ahead.
a
Go ahead.
weapon buried in the desert, I think he's looking for Maeve.
I think it's either Maeve or Ford. It's either
Ooh.
Maeve or Ford.
Ooh, it'd be
Ford's
great
pearl,
if it was
right?
Ford, but I think
If
he's
he
looking for
pops
Maeve.
up, yes.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would
put
be
that here.
awesome.
Was it
And
Ford's host?
then-
Maeve's the weapon.
And I never thought of this until I actually read somebody else's comment. But a lot of people think that the woman that Bernard met that took him out, that's out in the desert,
say it.
is Frankie.
Yes, that's
Grown
exactly
up.
what I thought too. Yep.
See, I
That's
didn't even think
awesome.
of that.
You know
Yeah.
who I thought she was when I
Who?
first saw her? I
Hmm.
thought it was Maeve's daughter.
See, that's who
Okay.
I thought it was. I thought it was
Oh.
Maeve's daughter.
I don't think we got
Okay.
a name for her, but it
We
could
didn't.
be either. It
I
could
thought
be
Frankie when I saw
Frankie.
her.
That's a good idea.
Mhm.
See, I
That's
don't
a
think
good
it.
idea. That's a better idea than, but I thought it was Maeve's daughter too. But
Yeah.
Maeve's daughter did make it to the Sublime though.
Yes, she did.
Mm.
Yeah, she did.
She did.
Well,
go
but I don't
through,
think,
but-
back to your original question, I don't think it matters whether Bernard or Maeve are in the same timeline. What he's trying to
Okay.
say is that both of their current instances, they're
Mhm.
living kind of like future lives because they're both anticipating what's going to happen to try to
True.
save the past, kind of like Back to the Future. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we're
Gotcha.
in the future to try to
Save
save,
the
the
past.
past-ish
Mhm.
or the current time
Present-ish.
frame or whatever.
Presentish.
I don't know if it matters if any of them are in the same timeline,
True.
because if Bernard has been able to live millennium
Mhm.
for 5 years of this
Mm.
world's time, it doesn't matter when he comes back, we're still way behind
Yeah.
what he
Mm.
saw. What I'm interested in is, okay, so if he's been gone for years, as Stubbs said, and he's dusty and all that, how does he still not know which path is the path to
Mm.
get him?
Because didn't
Save the world.
Archetta already tell him, because there's buku paths,
I guess.
and
Well, and
he
like you
has to
said,
go
he's
through
checking himself on the
information,
way.
right,
Checking,
to see
right,
Mm.
which one, because like he said, like Bernard said, in each scenario, I die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's internally trying to work that
There
out,
is one.
which
Yeah.
right, which reasonable one, and yeah.
Mhm.
And
And
the
remember,
fir-
Akacheta had that piece of paper that he folded to show that
Yes.
time was,
Yeah.
it's
Infinite.
it's kind of
Yes.
fluid, and so it doesn't matter what timelines they're in because you could just get from one to the other probably
Mm.
pretty
I love
easily.
it.
So
Yeah.
we don't know
Bernard
where
could.
we are.
We
Yeah,
don't
Bernard
know.
could. Yeah.
I mean, what we're doing right now is why we watch a show, right? So
I
we
know.
can guess and
But
try to
let's
piece
talk
it
about,
together.
okay.
No, I
let's
gotta finish
Wait.
something real quick.
Okay,
And I may have
Jay,
lost
remember,
it right
it's
now.
Dark
No,
Loop.
no, no, no.
Dark Loops Productions.
Oh,
Yes.
no. Yeah, I love you guys. The first question that Bernard asks Stubbs gives him an answer. And he goes, okay, I've eliminated 50% of the possibilities, right? So in other words, in 50% of his simulations, it went a different way. And I thought that was pretty cool. And he keeps narrowing it down. So like you said, he's testing it as it goes. All right. So where are we going to go now? Sistah Jay, what was yours?
I want to talk about the little baby girl, Frankie.
Oh, damn.
Okay, first of all, wait. First of all, when she first comes on, now I really did like how it ended up. But
I love that.
When she first came on the scene, when she first came, when we first have shown her, and her mama said, "Okay, it's time for you to pack up," and she talking about, "No, I'm not going." Now, see, they are so. I hate that when they have them kids be that disrespectful.
And I don't think she said it disrespectfully. She was saying,
yes,
I'm not going.
No.
She didn't run up and jump up and run away or nothing like that.
I would have snatched her up and said,
I liked it.
Get the
How about our Good Girls actor showing up?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Do you watch that show, Zombie?
No.
Okay.
But please elaborate.
But he's like one of the main characters, the guy that was trying to get them.
I was so excited to see him.
Girls.
Yes, me too.
Last episode, I kept looking, going, that looks a lot like him, but I could never see his face.
Yes, that was him.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him until this one.
Yeah, he's really,
roll
really
that
good.
thing back for a second when it got through the first what switcheroo. He's like, oh, what karate move? And I was like, wait a minute.
Yes. They swapped him out
baby girl
quick.
had the blood on the table. I was like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go back and see.
Yeah.
That was a really good scene.
And she picked up on it right quick.
Right. But
she
that's
knew.
because Caleb had taught her. But weren't you surprised when she whispered to her mother and her mother immediately believed her?
First
that
of all,
was shocking because that never happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me go back to something you said, Sistah Jay. I loved it when the little girl said, no, I ain't going because I don't like the mama. I don't like the lady playing the mama.
That ain't the point.
So I was like, nah, let's not go with her because who knows what the heck she gonna get you into.
Exactly.
She kept poo-pooing Caleb teaching the little girl anything. So obviously she didn't learn nothing.
No.
So I was thinking, oh crap, when this stuff goes down, the mama's gonna be useless.
No, she wasn't.
She was kind of.
No, she wasn't.
Shaking. I was like, lady, just get the damn gun and hurry up.
I'm sure. Wait a minute. I was surprised she even knew the combination to the gun safe. So that was a good thing. And I mean, you would be nervous trying to load it up and everything before he came back in.
Not if you had listened to your husband and trained.
Oh, well.
And training is everything, right? You got to practice.
Well, she probably knows that now.
But that's the problem. It's always too late, right?
Yeah.
But that was good though.
Scene.
That was really good. That's why it really, really, really ticked me off. When Caleb saw his daughter after seeing everything else in the basement, and he gonna run in there.
Why?
So you think he should have known something?
No. If he's gonna run in there and run in the door, he should have snatched her ass up and
came
ran.
out.
But you're gonna stay in that little room. No.
I kept saying hug her and run out because they can lock them doors
her up and run out. Yeah.
No, I have to admit I was so
that was
blown
bogus.
away
was
by what followed that I forgot.
No, it was good. No, it was really good because if he hadn't have been, if they hadn't have let that happen, we wouldn't have got the impact of what happened later. So it had to be they stayed in that room.
Come on, was that not the best sci-fi scene? I mean,
it was.
That especially came close to Expanse quality, man. That was pretty good.
It was great,
especially the fade to black. The fade to black at the closet. That's what made that work.
That was so good.
So smart.
And I just knew he was going to find them or find her, but that was so
I like that.
Good. And I really like the fact that the mama shot him. Because I thought, do something useful,
Yeah.
Good shot too.
What made the impact of what happened in that basement when Caleb goes and snatches her is the fact that we had seen them in that lab with them creepy those
white things.
creepy white
Maggots.
robots.
Oh, the robots.
Those
Yes.
guys, they don't have no face.
I have a
know.
question
And they're
about
big. They're bigger than
Very
everybody
big.
I have
else.
a question about that because now the only thing I side-eyed and was
creepy.
squinting at my computer, or my TV. Couldn't they see them walking through there?
No, they're programmed
They're
for
focused.
that task.
That's all they do,
Don't
right?
you remember back in the forge place? They are programmed for
I
that
swear
specific
some of them was
task.
fighting somebody.
And they didn't spend any money on
That
their
was,
there was
wardrobe
a
either.
security one. That was his whole job was to police the perimeter. But
Oh,
in that
I don't
lab,
know.
those guys, their job was
I felt like
those
that one
specific
could
things.
see, and so
No.
now I'm thinking
And
that they all can see.
No.
I
I'm
also
like,
got to admit, those are not impressive sci-fi
Creepy.
costumes.
They're
You
creepy.
can tell there's someone in there wearing it, right?
Yeah.
oh yeah.
If you're going to do that kind of stuff, just make it a human and then flesh out, get rid of some details so it looks like you just cheaply put skin on it or something. They're creepy. I give you
They're
that. But when
creepy.
they
Creepy,
start,
though.
when you start seeing the fabric crease and stuff, it just feels like you're watching Doctor Who.
Oh.
I thought it was good because they are big. I just
They're
felt
creepy.
Mhm.
like
I
they
just
would
think
be
they're
able
creepy.
to sense or see
Because they have no face.
They got no face.
them
Exactly.
walking by.
It's creepy.
Okay,
It's
so we were
so
talking
good.
about those cheap white robot
Yes.
suits that
Yeah.
they're wearing, right? So
I think they're not bad.
I know it's just they're so elaborate, and there's no. I mean, I guess we're supposed to say, "Oh my gosh, I can't figure out what utility that is. It must be a sci-fi implied thing. That's so cool." And
It's a robot.
it's a robot.
But it's like no, I mean, but
Exactly.
it's like those hosts are like designed to be like people. So they call them hosts. These are designed for robot to do an
Yep.
activity, and they do this repetitive activity
Yep.
over and over and over. And that's what they do. That was the getting of the maggots. That was the growing of that ooze crap.
Yep.
And then a different one was uploading that ooze crap to the flies.
Oh,
Yeah,
those
yeah.
were
Isn't
the
that just
nastiest
the
things.
coolest?
And it was good to see that sequence.
Yeah,
I love
Yeah.
it.
How
because
did they
now
get
we
there?
know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
I don't know
I
about y'all,
mean-
but I was itching during
Oh,
that.
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. When they
All
first
that
got into the
buzz.
lab area and they saw all those flies and Maeve and Caleb were standing there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did you see them flies go to the window when Caleb was
Yeah, he
standing
put
there?
his
Yeah.
hand up and they were like,
Yeah.
"Ooh,
know
And they
what?
all went like
They're
You
that.
attracted to
recognized his
humans.
as was human.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna hunt down humans, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think first of all, flies are so biblical, right? I mean, they're like one of the plagues,
Swarms
right?
of them.
Yes.
They're everywhere. They feed on death.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the continuation of this
Mhm.
biblical iconography they use throughout the whole show, and it's so friggin' cool, right?
Yeah.
So, how many of you, when you were watching Caleb at the end and his mouth is open and he's screaming, it felt like CGI? The flies felt like CGI to you. To me, it was him, but the flies.
Oh, I'm pretty sure
You
Aaron
wouldn't-
Paul or whatever his name is was like, I'm not gonna be in here with my mouth open with all these damn flies. Y'all better
Exactly.
But
do
that's the
something.
thing. He had
And
his
I'm like,
mouth
why is his
open.
mouth wide open, dude? At
Exactly.
least,
No way.
know,
You've been going.
And why isn't he swatting or doing something?
Exactly. No,
something.
There was
Well,
nothing.
they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to
No.
mess up the CGI fly.
Yeah.
that could be production because
Yeah.
post credits they showed a little thing about CGIing his face
Mhm.
But
so
I'm
that they
sure
could
it
put
was
the flies in there.
CGI.
No, the flies were. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is then, but you're not going to have flies swarming around you, keeping your mouth open, screaming.
That's
No.
true.
You're going to go,
Yeah.
"Blah,
True.
blah, blah,"
Yeah.
you know,
Well, but
like
but,
you said,
but,
swat
but
and-
maybe it was
Swatting, doing
painful
something.
though. Maybe it was painful. Maybe
Well, I'm
that's
maybe
sure
why
the-
she was squeezing his arms.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, okay,
Yeah.
okay, there you
that
go.
was the
I
best
know.
part though when she started breaking up.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Oh
Best-
my gosh,
Oh,
that
that
was
was
so
so
good.
No, when he
creepy.
said, "Is your mama here? Did they get your mama?" She says, "No, daddy, because she don't need. She don't need mama. She only needed you." And I was
You.
like, "Oh,
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
That ain't your
Oh.
daughter.
Hook, line,
That
and
was-
sinker, man.
But
I
it's
know.
so-
Yeah,
I love it
Lord.
how they brought back the split face
Oh,
opening.
God.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
was like,
so
okay.
freaky to look
Yes.
at because you're just
Yeah.
oh.
No.
But it's so cool at the same
It
time.
is
Yeah.
just
But
so
that was
cool.
that was the perfect delivery system.
So
Mhm.
good.
Perfect.
Yep.
Right,
They
because they
knew.
knew.
They knew.
And
Mhm.
which explained, and I was also saying, okay, Maeve, you done forgot. They ain't nowhere around there with no cameras.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're letting you get to this point for a
Yes.
reason.
Right.
Think,
Right.
Maeve, think. And she
Mhm.
wasn't putting it together, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And William was there.
Mm-hmm.
What was, I mean, he must have been part of the
Char
ploy
Williams.
so that he could
Mhm.
take care of Maeve and
Right.
then
Oh yeah.
Caleb
Because
would
he's
get
been
to his
looking for
daughter.
her.
Well,
Yeah,
and I
okay.
feel like they want Maeve for a reason. Like there's
Yes,
some
Of
they
course.
reason
Yeah,
do.
they
she's
want
very
Maeve,
powerful.
'cause she's
Yeah.
powerful.
Right.
I mean, she was able to concentrate and finally get those doors unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what
Yes.
we don't know is whether they went ahead and unlocked it for her or if
Mhm.
she actually was able to unlock
Oh,
it.
because they could be
And
faking
let's
her
talk
out.
about
yeah.
that
That's true.
drone. Let's talk about that drone tone.
Yes.
Oh, that was
Didn't it
awesome.
remind you of something?
No.
Didn't it look like that Rehoboam?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I exactly thought too.
Well done on the bum bum.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
learned
that
from you
was
last week.
excellent, Sistah Aye.
Didn't even stutter or nothing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love that she could
Yeah.
hear it and he couldn't.
Right.
And they were
Yeah.
using that to now the thing is these aren't
Control. How
droids they're
could-
controlling now. These are humans.
Human.
These
How
are
come-
humans who have these fly infected
Yes.
brains that are
Mhm.
being controlled by these tones. And that's what that's probably what the guy was talking about in the first or second episode about the tower.
Could
Yes.
Like
be.
that tower's out there
Yes.
pushing out that
Mhm.
tone, right?
Only I can
And-
hear them or something.
Oh, I love
Yes,
that.
remember?
Oh, yes, the homeless dude.
Yes.
Yeah,
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 the
yeah,
homeless guy.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Now wait
Got
a
some
minute,
flies
y'all.
in his
I
brain
know.
Wait a minute. How come Caleb couldn't hear it, but Maeve could?
because he's human. In other words,
And
it's
he's
And
a-
not
he's not-
infected yet.
He's not
Right.
infected.
And he's
Exactly.
Right. He's
Infected.
not infected yet.
oh, that's a
So-
good point. He's not infected yet. Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
so how did
Hosts
that homeless
can
dude
hear it.
hear it?
Well, then he must be human and not infected like the rest of them.
Well, but
fools out
who'd
there.
you ask about?
The homeless
But-
dude.
But the homeless dude
hears.
could hear it.
He's infected. But it failed. But he's like a failed attempt at
Maybe,
infection.
maybe
There's
a
something
failed
different about him or
attempt.
something.
Okay.
And
So
okay.
maybe
that-
that's what they're doing in
Okay.
Dolores's world is playing with the infection, y'all. Right? It's not.
Ooh.
And wait, and it also goes back to
In
your
that
theory.
mental
I
hospital.
think Zombie Scotty,
Yeah.
somebody's theory last week or the week before about how that whole world she's in ain't real. Like
a
she's the only
simulation.
one.
Yeah.
She's the only
Or
one
it's a
that's
beta.
not, or
It's a
beta
beta
version.
Yeah.
club where
With
they're
the
Or
dead
trying
beta.
out-
birds and all that stuff. Yep.
It's
Mhm.
Charlotte's lab, right? Because that,
It is.
Yeah, yeah.
It is because Charlotte has already said that she's doing experiments.
And they're
You
really
know?
not showing her that much, which is a really cool way to do a villain, right? She's got William out there doing all her
Right.
people dirty work, and she's in the back
Mhm.
just making sure all the right buttons get pressed. And
Well,
I
so
love
far.
it. So
So
far,
far.
yeah, no, exactly. I think we're going to see a Charlotte Maeve.
Oh, showdown.
Oh,
for
Well,
sure.
but I think we're gonna see a Charlotte May Bernard. That's what I think.
Yeah.
All of them gonna
Charlotte
be
May
up in there.
Bernard Dolores.
Dolores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those
Once
are the real
she gets her
forces of
little
the show.
memories back, Christina
Four Horsemen.
Dolores, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
And remember,
something's gonna
we
happen.
weren't sure if Caleb was actually a host or not a few
Exactly.
episodes back. So
No, well
obviously
said.
this confirmed it.
Yes.
Earlier in the episode, he was shot at and he was
Mhm.
fine.
Right.
Yeah.
So we
Right,
knew then,
right.
and then now he's been altered. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder what they're gonna make him do. That's what I want to know.
Well, I
Oh,
was.
yeah.
They made it look like he got infected.
Well,
Yeah,
he
I
is,
think
but I
he
mean,
is,
for
they
sure.
make him do
But
stuff.
why do they grab
Yes.
him?
Yeah.
Like, why did the daughter say, or the fake daughter, that she wants you? Like, why
Not the
him?
mama.
yes,
Yeah.
to
the-
lure
okay.
somebody
Well-
else or do something.
Well, he's
I don't
probably some
know.
kind of revolutionary hero too, right? I mean, we've not really seen any press of
Mhm.
his
True.
accomplishments with Maeve
That's
during the
true.
revolution,
Mm.
right? But if you've got a hero like that, and it's like taking over a politician. You just get them to say things and other people do them.
Yeah.
We won't talk about the president, so
Yeah, we not going there.
we're not gonna go there. But So we'll see where they go with it, right? I mean,
yeah, that
it's
was
very
really good.
exciting.
But one of the coolest scenes for me, anyway, and I was thinking, dang, if you live out in the country, you need this. And that is how they got through the little badlands.
Yeah.
Where they had to pull up those.
Yeah, that was cool.
Oh, that was so cool.
That
And
security
they had
measure.
the mirrors
Yeah.
blocking out the, oh my gosh, I need that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I
love
got to
it.
ask you, were they driving on a road or were they
No.
in the open desert?
Well, they were in the open desert,
Well,
but she's driving, so she
open,
knows
yeah.
where she's going. She knows
Yeah.
where
I'm
those
saying if I'm
those
going to
are.
have a laser trap in the desert, it's going to be like 300 feet wide.
Well,
It's
you
not
know
gonna
it
be
is.
the
I mean,
road-
did you see that? Did you see those red wires?
Yeah, I thought
they
they were like
I'm
a
extended
pretty
a
road.
sure
long
it
time.
is, but that one spot they have.
Yeah, that
That
makes
one
sense.
just enough
spot,
to
Yeah.
get
and that's why
Alright.
she went to that one spot, because she said, and she was kicking all the dirt off of those
Yeah,
handles,
she
so
was.
they were hidden.
Yeah.
And she said, I need one of y'all on each side to pull this up at the same time.
So
That
what do
was
you-
so cool. I
It
love
was.
it. That
Let
was
me
so
ask you
cool.
guys, it doesn't matter anymore to you, and you can all answer this individually, who's a host and who isn't. I mean, we can ask this question every week, but they're
Yeah.
doing such a good job of switching the tables, same story, different,
It's
you
kind
know,
of a fluid
that
kind of.
it's kind of,
Yeah.
when does that matter anymore? I mean,
Well, I mean,
I think it does matter in some,
I
depending
think
on
so
what
too.
the character is doing. To me,
well, their motivations are absolutely
Right.
based on that human versus a host.
Right.
But for us as viewers,
no.
we're gonna vote for Maeve every week, man. We're
I'm
gonna vote
gonna-
for, you know,
Yeah.
regardless
Well,
of
Yeah,
because
what
we
she
Amber
know
is.
Nard
she's after
and-
the man in black. And I loved it when
Yeah.
she said, aren't you tired of me kicking your ass?
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
That was good. And she
That was
proceeded to
so
get
good.
hers dragged all over the place. I was like, babe.
Mm.
Oh,
And
No,
who
but-
are the humans right now in the show?
Yeah.
No, that's a very
Most
good
of
point.
them are
Caleb.
Caleb's the last one, and now
Yeah.
he's altered. So
Yeah.
No,
most
that's
of
a
them
good
are
point.
hosts.
now I'm assuming the girl and the guy that they met out in the desert are human, but I don't.
Yeah.
I'm
but we
assuming
don't
they're
know.
human. Yes,
Right.
Yeah, but we
you're
don't
right.
know.
That's true.
It's
Yeah,
so-
see, we don't know. I mean, we're
Exactly.
just assuming, like I thought that was Maeve's daughter grown up. And a lot of people think it's Frankie grown up. So, but
Yeah.
we don't know.
Right.
No.
Either
Right.
way, it's just totally cool.
And I mean, if
Yes.
they're
Very
hosts,
cool.
they all look at the same thing. They want the weapon that's buried out in the desert. So,
Mhm,
What is this
mhm.
doggone weapon though?
yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's the
It's
key,
either
like,
Maeve or Ford. That's going to be my guess.
Oh, wow.
Ford
That would be
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
You know, somehow
Let's just
Bernard
lean
made a
back.
dupe of Ford in his sleep, put him in a pearl.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah,
awesome.
that would
Yeah.
be cool.
Awesome.
Anthony
Yeah.
Hopkins would steal the scene in a second.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah.
it would be great.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That would be amazing.
It would be. So anything else about this episode?
Some
that-
great music choices.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, that was
Yes.
fantastic
And it was
with the
fun to
big
get.
scene at the club.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just the best.
I love
Yeah.
that.
I
And it
love
was
that
good
too.
to get into the piano covers of rock pop
Yes.
tunes.
Yes.
Enter
that's
Sandman.
awesome.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, that was
I was going to
fantastic.
say, Metallica didn't do that whole instrumental thing, did they?
Yeah,
Someone
that was
created it.
their.
It was their song, but
It was their song
someone
on piano.
created
Okay.
it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No,
Yeah,
that
very
was
cool.
that was
fantastic.
an amazing. I love that scene, and I
Yes.
love the
Mm.
whole walk up to it. The
Mhm.
can drops.
That was
Yep.
good. That was
Exactly.
Don't pick
good.
that
Pick
up.
it up, and he's
Said,
like,
don't pick that
Don't
up.
pick that up, darling.
yes. And every time Maeve is about to do something, oh darling, oh darling.
It's just
I
the
love
best.
that. I
Yes.
love it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
she's
darling. Pow.
Pure presence.
Yes.
Pure
Yeah, when
presence.
she shot her, oh my God.
But
Mhm.
even like in the club and seeing her new host that's going
Yep.
through her loop,
Right.
and the other one that comes up to Caleb,
Mm.
and she's
Supposed to
telling
be-
her, "No, we're not going to be needing you."
Yeah,
Clementine.
that was
Every-
supposed to be
Clementine?
Clementine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But every piece of it was great. And then when she was seeing the bandit or whatever, the gangsta come in,
Yeah.
and she's remembering Hector.
I know.
Caleb noticed, and she's like, "Oh, he's a shabby imitation of."
Oh, they did that so on purpose. They made
I
sure that
know.
dude was 3 notches below Hector.
Way below. And I was like, "Where's
Come
Hector?
on.
We need Hector."
Yeah, that was fantastic.
That
And there was a
Even
very
like the
petty-
move and the safe and moving her over and every single thing that just repeated
Yeah.
was just a great nod to that very first season where we fell in love with all these characters.
Yeah, and for us, it was like jumping in a pool. You know, it was just the best.
Right.
So
awesome.
here's this thing you mentioned about Maeve and the comments you made about she can't do that as well as I can. You've got what you got then is a host who knows she's a host, who knows that she was living this life that was in which she was abused, expressing pride in the way that she did her host job. And I just love what that does to us. Right. It makes us think, wait a minute, isn't she supposed to hate everything about that world? Because people are complicated, man. They can love and hate all kinds of things at the same time.
That's true.
And I just love her defense of her time. Right.
Right. She is an example of what some people claim that they are, but they're not humans. And that is she accepts herself for exactly who she is.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
No ifs, ands, or buts, or but on this day, on this day. No, she knows she's a host. She's okay with it. She also knows she's sentient now.
Yes.
Because she had that conversation with Ford.
Yeah.
And now she knows she was made that way on purpose.
Oh my God.
Because she has something to do.
And then in the season 1, when she would get herself killed so she could go to the lab.
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, that is intense
intentional
stuff. Yes.
Intentional.
Great.
See,
Yeah.
and then
Intentional
when
stuff.
she would make Felix help her upgrade herself, I mean, she knew
Yes.
exactly each step she was doing.
Mhm.
Right.
I was secretly hoping Felix and the other
Yeah,
guy would
so
pop
was
up,
I, man.
actually, but they
That would have been
Me
so
too.
cool.
Yeah.
You know what though?
Yeah.
Hey, they're still in the
Maybe.
basement.
Maybe.
Maybe they'll be there.
Well, if she were in charge of the park, there'd be a Felix host running around for sure.
Yes,
right?
that's
That's
true.
doing the job. Doing the job.
Two things before we go is
Yeah.
one is, do you find it interesting that Maeve, the whole point I feel like of the first season or 2 has been how humans treated these hosts because they weren't real and they couldn't feel. And Maeve and Dolores and all of them were feeling sentient, becoming awoke
Right.
hosts. And so they were trying to basically have the theme or the say, you can't just be so cavalier about us because we're not you and kill us and do what you want with us and da-da-da. But do you find it interesting how in this season, like now, she's kind of cavalier with the other hosts in the park, and she's like, "Oh, sorry, darling." Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yes.
That's
Kill.
true.
That is
And so
where
it's
we
kind of
are.
like-
Killing her own in a
He's
way.
like going against what our first couple of seasons of them and the theme was. I don't know. how to say
I think that's kind of what I was getting after earlier about comparing her to Bernard, right? Is that she's transcended human host binaries.
Yeah.
So what is it that she's protecting then?
Right.
Right? Because she's just as likely to kill a host as a human now. And so
Right.
there's something that she's protecting. And, we've said maybe she's trying to get William out of the scene. I'm not sure, but
that's what she said.
right.
That's what she told Caleb.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's exciting that that what she's trying to protect isn't something would be more of a value, I guess, than a type of being.
I think she's already explained that. She was in a cabin out in the snow and the cold by herself. William sent that general after her.
Yes.
She knows that because she questioned the general. That's why she's on a quest to get William. Because I have a feeling that
William.
Right, Char William. Because I have a feeling that she doesn't know the real William is like in that little thing. All she knows is this one. But I have a feeling in her mind, she thinks that if she gets rid of him, she can go back to whatever she wants, whether it's going to the sublime, living back on the mountain, or
I
whatever.
don't think so, because all these years later, wouldn't she have already tried to go to the Sublime if she wanted to go back there?
But I'm just saying her goal that she stated was to get William.
But then what?
Right. And
Don't
it's not
know.
William. She knows it's not William. She knows
Right.
it's Charlotte.
Probably so they
that's
could
made this William host.
Well, she knows now. She knows now
She
after
knew
she questioned.
last episode
Yeah.
when she saw
Right.
it.
That's what I mean. I
Mhm.
mean, she knows after she went and found Caleb. Now she knows because she questioned that
Right.
senator. But until she came off that mountain, she didn't know.
And she
But-
can't
but
get
she-
to the Sublime because Bernard's been bogarting the doorway. Right? I mean,
Yeah,
right, for like ever.
You know what? That's a
Yeah.
good point.
He's
That's
got
a
the
good point.
special
He's
thing.
got this.
that lets
Right.
I
you
don't know
go
if there are
right.
any more of them running around, right? So
Yeah.
I mean,
But it does make you question, like, okay, so like you said, what is it that she's trying
Then
to
what? Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Because what the original goal was to be able to live your life the way you wanted to live it
Mhm.
Mhm.
as a host and not have people
so
jack
there's
with you,
a
basically.
yeah.
Right now, what is Bernard's goal? I mean, he's trying to save humanity, but for why? Because
Oh,
is it
unless-
because he still believes that he or wants to be human? Is it that he still thinks that he's like, what is it about
Right.
Mhm.
him specifically that has this quest?
We have
And
better
Maeve,
have a 10-minute Bernard Maeve conversation somewhere. Like, what are you doing? What
Yeah.
are you doing?
What's
Yeah,
your
what are you doing?
idea?
Because these are questions they would really ask each other. And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
I would love to see Maeve basically in the end say, I don't really care what you think my goal might be. This is what it means to live. I do whatever I want to do. And if I'm killing hosts now, that's what I want to do. If I'm killing humans, that's
Right.
what I want to do. And it's like, whoa, that's what we call freedom, I guess, right? You know,
Well,
I mean,
which is basically what human beings do. They do what they
Exactly.
want to do.
they do, and then Bernard would come in with a whole bunch of shoulds, but you should, but you should. And I say, darling, enough of your shoulds.
Darling.
I really hope they suss out what they're trying to do with her character. Right,
Yes,
that
that would be
they-
good.
That would be fantastic. Yeah. And then maybe Ford come back, tell her she's special because she does what she wants. Right.
Mhm.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
There
because
you go.
everyone cannot be a doggone host. Like everyone we're seeing is a host now.
Right.
Like, remember the first season we were like, oh no, they're human. Like Stubbs turned out to be a host. And
Yes.
Yeah.
everybody's a host. So I'm like,
Yes.
okay, so what do we really, if you have a ton of hosts out there living their lives,
Mm,
Mhm.
what are we saving? Like, where are the people that you're trying to save if you're trying
exactly.
to save the world? Like, if we're surrounded by hosts and all these loops or beta versions, depending on our timeline,
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's the question that I find very intriguing.
And if the elite hosts, the ruling class of the hosts are just running around killing hosts, then it's
Yeah.
not doesn't matter, right? I mean,
Right.
if you're trying to do something different. What I like about that thinking is, Ford or of course Arnold was just so shocked because he had a binary, right? A binary of human.
But we were
hosts.
shocked too, though.
We were shocked.
Shocked.
Shocked. And then Ford says, okay, I'm gonna take this group of beings and I'm gonna evolve them so that they can protect themselves. So his goal was to keep them alive and let them out into the world. But once they get out there, they got to be killers too. I mean, he trained them to be killers, but they end up killing each other as well, right? So
Yeah.
we'll,
Yeah.
I'd love to see a sort of what would Ford think of. Is this what he meant? Or
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think a lot depends upon Charloris. I mean, what is she going to do? And we already know she's already said, I can't replace all of y'all. So I just, pick certain ones and stuff. So
Mhm.
who else is she going to pick? You know what I mean? We
Right.
know she got the FBI guy. We know she got the VP.
right.
I'm sure she has some other people
I love it.
strategically placed. So
Mhm.
are we going to see
Right.
other world leaders that she has done that too, or so
Yeah.
to me that's the most intriguing. Yeah, Maeve's still my favorite, and she's going to go after William no matter what, or she's going to be there in that park trying to figure all the things out no matter what.
Right.
Bernard's trying to, find this weapon to help these people because he's trying to save, humanity or whatever. But what's Charlotte going to do?
She's gonna kill them all, man.
Well, that may be her thinking, but I mean, what is she actually going to do other than developing this goo and shit? There's got to be more. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and then,
I mean,
and then who's controlling that drone thing, that tower drone thing?
probably William. I mean, probably
Charlotte.
Delos.
Charlotte. Yeah.
Charlotte through Delos through Charlotte. Maybe my guess. I don't know.
Because Charlotte's the one who got William to purchase that stuff from
That's
the
true.
cartel. Charlotte's the one who has set all of this stuff up in motion. And to talk to the senator about having that land and about opening up their new park. And I guess it's because she wants to get as many people there as possible to massacre or whatever.
See, I'm not sure
she kills,
why the park.
Like, is she trying to make sure? Because I'm sure there are going to be some human people who can't go.
Exactly.
So is that why she's got other people strategically? I figured she had the senator and the cartel and whoever, so that they can get the funding and the money and the power to get the pieces that she wanted to get get the park open. But that's the part that I'm stuck on a little bit too. Like, why are you trying to kill every single human in the world?
Right. I mean, that's I think they are playing a little bit with the psychology of a despot, right? You just want total control, whatever that means, and you're going to kill everybody and everything you need to keep it. I mean, she says it's revenge right now. We'll see if in fact, I mean,
but Kay has a point though.
Just
this is
go ahead.
But this is just one place.
Yeah.
One place on the whole planet. So what is she? I mean, there's people everywhere. But it's just this one place that she's trying to like kill a bunch of people. So that's what I mean. What does she want? What is she going to do? Because there's people everywhere.
So at the moment, I believe her that she wants to put a whole bunch of hosts out there with flies in them and and kill all the people and replace them with droids. And I don't think I mean, the way they're presenting her character, she doesn't have a big scheme other than that. That at least that I've seen. I mean, that, and quite often that's, you're like, just like in, The Expanse, right? They needed whatever his name is, Anaros.
Marco.
They needed Marco
Anaros,
to be the over the edge. All I got to do is get revenge and fight back. And then other people come in after the revolution and who are more, level-headed and less simple.
True.
But we'll see. I mean, I got to have my Dolores Bernard conversation just over a cup of coffee at some point.
So we gotta get Teddy back.
And we have not given Stubbs any love. Come on. We have not talked about Stubbs.
Hey, did you know the actor playing him is a Hemsworth?
Yes.
Everybody
knows.
knows.
I did not
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until here recently.
I was glad he was okay. He was
Me too. I like him.
Been taking care of Bernard.
You got your odd couple running around now again. Your buddy comedy going on.
Stubbs be eating though. He might not need to eat, but he be eating.
But made like that sherry.
I love it.
And a big fat cigar.
Yes.
That someone else had already been smoking. Right. I mean, I just love it. And that's just another clue that she's going to go with a whim. She's going to do what she wants, and she's got the power to make it happen. And
I can't wait to see what she does about Caleb. Oh man.
So that's the thing, when he was fixing her and the whole time when they were fighting together, she really seemed emotionally connected to him like a peer. She really seemed to have affection for him. And it's obvious that they told us earlier that they had fought in the war together, and we've not really gotten backstory yet. But I thought that was an interesting way to write them. Because it's not like Mel and Zoe in Firefly, right? They fought together in the war, but they don't have that kind of affection vibe between the two of them. I just thought it was interesting they wrote it that way. I'm not sure.
Oh, I think they did have an affection vibe.
Oh, well, I thought they had admiration, right? I got the vibe that Maeve.
Yeah, I would say it's admiration. I don't think it's an affection vibe.
Okay.
I don't get that from them. But I just want to know, or I can't wait to see what her reaction is. I mean, he's laying there with these flies all in him. And all the walls are glass. She can see that. So I can't wait to see what does she do.
Too busy knocked out with the Man in Black knocked her out.
Yeah.
Well, but she knew he went in there though.
Yeah.
I love it. It's already like only episode 3 and we feel like our heroes are doomed, right? I mean, it's fantastic.
No, I don't think they're doomed.
Well, they're deep. It's a pretty deep mess right now,
It's
right?
a deep mess.
He's eating flies and she's laying on the floor now.
right. Because of all these doggone upgrades that they have. So she's gonna have to get the new Felix.
She needs
Felix
and upgrade herself because she's not gonna be able to make it. Or I feel like something else is gonna trigger. All this is gonna trigger something in her.
I think so too.
Something's gonna be found inside of her to where she can elevate herself to that level, because
here's what they're gonna do.
An upgrade,
Bernard is gonna share the device. Maeve is gonna go into the Sublime and run all kinds of scenarios to solve the problem. And she's gonna be able to do it faster and better than anybody. Because she's she's gonna use the Sublime tech. Exactly. Yeah. She'll be dodging bullets and all kinds of great stuff, man. No, that was fantastic. Awesome. The fight scenes, she does fight scenes really well.
Yeah.
And even if they've got stunt doubles for the hard parts, the editing is all really good. It always feels like it's her. And
it does.
And that dress she wore, by the way, was stunning.
Oh, I know.
Yes.
Her whole look.
Always, she looks.
Yeah, in the after bit, they talked about how they used black, white, and gray makeup on her because it would have been consistent with the makeups that were available in the 20s.
I saw that.
That's just so cool.
Awesome.
Wow.
And you think about she actually looked like she was in, what I would think the 20s looked like. So,
Wow.
So we got a little
part
go
too,
ahead.
They say they're fans of the show as well as playing in it. That was a good clip.
Can you imagine how much? Well, this is just all of these cable shows now that last 10 episodes this season and 3 or 4 seasons. What a great gig as an actor.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, usually you were back in the 70s, it was one movie at a time where you did TV.
Yes.
Right.
And now you get these multi-year contracts and you get to live in a character for an extended period of time. So you don't have to do the whole thing in 2 hours. Right. I just really, I like to see them enjoying that and kind of knowing that this is a special time for actors and writers. Okay, guys. So we got a little viewer mail from Goody.
Hey,
Goody.
Hey, Goody.
She says the music design for the episode was artful, from the ominous opening music with Bernard, the benevolent, to the orchestral Metallica when Maeve and Old Boy were in the saloon story.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Oh, and I'm going to read this part at the beginning. It was in a smaller font. So I said, so there's no cussing on this podcast. Are we PG?
Come on, Goody.
Laugh out loud, but for real, let me know. So we are like PG-13, R on my discretion. So
maybe edit it out.
Yes.
No, it's all good. I appreciate Goody writing. And she's finally, who is that actress playing the rebel lady who picked Bernard and his bodyguard up in the hybrid Jeep? HBO hasn't updated the official website as I write this.
Oh. I don't know who she
Not sure
is.
who the actress is. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'm intrigued by her and the guy that they ended up talking to.
Yes. They made sure we saw his face. Right? Yeah. They had a whole helmet lift. And,
right.
Okay, so it's in the face. Okay.
What main guy?
The guy with the girl that are in the desert.
He's the one. He's the actor from the Badlands. Remember that show? It came on right after The Walking Dead. Badlands.
He looked familiar, but I
remember an episode or 2 of that show, but well, great pod. Keep it up. Sincerely, Goody. So we'll look and see if we can find that actress's name between now. Yeah, thank you so much for writing in. And so I think that about does it for tonight's episode. Ladies, please tell everyone where they can find you on social media, and we'll start with Sistah Kay.
You can find us at sistahspeakproductions.com and everywhere you can find podcasts. We have a ton of them for any show that you are into.
Okay, how about you, Sistah Aye?
Yes, what Sistah Kay said. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Patreon. You can find us on Twitter. Our names, Sistah _, and our letters. Excuse me.
We've been talking quite a bit here. Yeah. Well, the audience is probably saying, dude, like, they all give you the same answer. So why don't you just have one of them tell you?
Yeah, because I'm just going to say what them two said.
Fantastic. Well, you can find me on Dark Loops Productions at YouTube. If you want to write in, please do. darkloopsproductions@gmail.com. And we will read it at the end of our next podcast. So there it is, from all of us to all of you. Big hugs. And remember, in this world,
you can be whatever you ever want.
Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.